So we're here with Nathan on the Scarpa stand, who's going to take us through the new Mago.
Depends on which country. You're from England, so we'll call Mago. I'm in Italy, so I'll call it Mago.
Brill. So I've been using these for a couple of months now, and they're pretty fascinating shoe. As far as the boot filled with kind of contrast, really. So really soft midsole that provides a load of sensitivity, really nice, like it. Then the sort of knock-on effect of that is usually that you lose a lot of power through the toe. You've got a really nice, stiff, reinforced toe box that doesn't do that. It provides loads of stiffness, loads of edging, and that sort of responsiveness that you lose a lot of the time. So, in short, how the hell have you done it?
A bit of Mariaka genius, really. Essentially, the way you can get that small hold power that you're looking for in something like this, there's two ways you can generate that. You can generate that through a stiff plastic platform, or you can generate it by changing the angle of the front toe.
Because the thing immediate when you put your foot on in this is that around about that point there's a sort of fascinating bump, isn't there?
There is. The bump's generated by the TPS insert on the inside here. And unlike a lot of the other shoes, even the Sticks has a Flexan insert. The TPS insert is nylon and it holds its shape. So that's why you can see this bump's consistent. And it flexes out as you smear, but it always comes back into that concave position. Whereas the Flexan insert we use in a lot of the other shoes just spreads the force and has no particular shape memory of its own. So what you're talking about is the shape memory of this plastic insert.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing as well that's worth mentioning is the lacing that comes, sort of right down to the end. Nice bit of rubber around the toe as well, but for me, like the fit on that was sort of key, is you could really sort of tailor it quite nicely. And I've got a relatively wide foot, I think. I like to think.
Yeah.
But even if you are, I think, on the more regular to narrow side, it still means you've got that sort of control and adjustment.
It does. I mean, the upside of a tapering, quite low lacing system is that you can tune it very, very well. The downside is that you do need to take the time to tune it. You can't just pull the laces at the top and then expect it to all fall into position.
Do you want to tell us a bit about this midsole as well? Because it's sort of different, shall we say?
Yeah, well, there's probably two things that in the midsole, and people often refer to the midsole as the plastic insert, but really it's the active tension system with the plastic insert that is the midsole.
And that's the sort of green bit, I guess, in technical terms, isn't it?
It's really easy to see on our new models because we've coloured it differently, whereas previously we always had it in black rubber, so now you can see it a lot more easily. But midsoles that use the rubber system like X-Tension, they don't offer the same force spreading power that a plastic insert is, but it's much more supple. So it's a more flexible support that gives to it. But I think it's the combination of the plastic midsole, the X-Tension system, and especially the angle that the toe box puts your foot in that really makes the Mago special. And like with most climbing shoes, it's not a single combination that makes the climbing shoe special. It's a combination of a whole bunch of factors.
It's a good combination of many things. And again, most critically, the final sort of touch for me was just that nice, well-fitted Italian heel as well.
It is. There's a plastic insert that runs in the Mago, and actually it runs from the ankle down to just to the base of the talus, and then it stops, and then it continues down in here to give some support, and then it stops again, and then there's a different nylon plastic at the front. So like with all our climbing shoes, it's really the combination of the materials, the design, and the way that we use the 4 layers together that is the total. It's not enough nowadays to get high performance out of using a single layer. You really need to use each layer to the most, and each layer needs to complement each other. They can't be conflicting.
I think the final thing for me, so I'm just raving about this shoe because I've just been using it pretty much non-stop for 2 months, but is that it's got all of this technicality, but it's still comfortable. It just hugs the foot almost. It's like a sort of comfortable slipper that's just sucked to your foot.
It does, and I think for people that are used to wearing very high performance shoes, previously we always had high performance shoes where we downsized, and that's how we got the toe angle.
Miserable.
It is, and the toe angle was generated by essentially a flat lasted shoe And by downsizing, we got the toe angle, whereas the special thing about the Mago is that it's designed and engineered to have this high toe angle. And that makes it a lot more comfortable because the pressure on the foot is a lot more even because we've stitched and designed the shoe for that high toe angle. So that's how you'll see a lot of shoes failing in this area or a lot on the knuckle here, because simply what you're doing is you're downsizing the shoe to get the angle, but the shoe's not designed like that from the initial stage. So I think, like most Mariaka shoes, it's his cleverness in working each of the layers really carefully to work together that makes the shoe really special. So it's small changes. Even, you know, the extension here, you know, Heinz clipped like a couple of mil off the side of it, just because he wanted to fine tune it further and further. And it's really the fine tuning of all the 4 layers that you're feeling.
I'm convinced, so thanks ever so much, Nathan.
I'm glad, because we spent a lot of time work on it.
And that is also out now as well, available to buy in stores, I believe, today.